I can't believe we are not in Mercury retrograde officially yet.
Yeah.
I know we're
You're
going to
already
talk
feeling
about it. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I just asked you, I'm like, are we like officially in it yet? Like, can I start counting down the days until this thing is over? And you shared with me, we're not even officially in it yet. We're still in the shadow period.
Yeah.
I would love to hear from folks in the comments and on the replay. Drop a comment below the video. Let me know, has there been anything Mercury retrograde like that you've been experiencing? So maybe something with a travel hiccup, travel delay, maybe a conversation that just went sideways. Like, what is it that you've been going through that feels like a marker and indicator for the Mercury retrograde? I have a good example from last night.
Yeah. Share it.
I still don't know how this happened, but here we go. So a friend of mine, lovely, lovely person. Her name is Sarah. She and I go to dance class together, and I haven't been in, I think we counted 7 weeks because I've just had so much travel and so much going on. And I said, I'm coming to class. I signed up, ready to go. And I go get in my car, and it's nighttime. It's very dark here now that we have the time change here. So I get in the car, I start backing up, and it says, whatever the alert is for your one headlight is out. I've never had a headlight go out before, right? So I'm like, well, I got one. I know it's not that safe, but I also knew that I was traveling just a couple of miles and the roads didn't have traffic on them hardly. So I was like, I'll be all right. So I get to the dance studio and I go to lock my car and the car won't lock. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, wait a second. I don't have the right keys.
Oh.
So somehow my car started in the parking lot or at my house as I was getting ready to go to the dance class. It started.
Yes.
Never said your key fob is not in the car.
Yeah.
I drove all the way over there, a few miles, to realize I will not be able to start my car again because I have shut it off. Yes.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, oh, I can call an Uber. Sarah's like, get in the car. So she drives me back over to my house. My keys are still sitting inside of my house. And I got the keys. She drove me back. It started. It was fine. Today I got the headlight fixed. But how does a car drive approximately 2, maybe 3 miles down the road?
Yeah.
Without a functioning key fob.
Yeah.
No alert. Imagine if I would have driven like 6 hours somewhere.
Seriously. Oh my God. Yeah.
So I was kind of laughing about it this morning. I'm like, oh my God, it's this freaking Mercury retrograde.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the local neighborhood. Here's like, Gemini rising, Sagittarius sun.
Yes.
Can't even get a car to function properly. And I still don't know.
Was your car to the keys in the house? Is your car in a garage or something? Is that okay?
Car was in the garage, and the keys were inside of the laundry room.
Oh, right next to the garage.
Yeah,
Right?
so it wasn't too far.
Hmm.
But wouldn't you think if I start pulling out of my neighborhood, it's like key fob not detected in the car?
Yeah, you'd think there'd be some kind of warning system.
Yeah, no. So I thought the headlight was like the first indicator. I was like, all right, Mercury retrograde, my car. Okay, I'll get it fixed. And then when that happened, I was like, F you, Mercury retrograde. And it was pouring rain, just like, oh God. So yeah, that's how my Mercury retrograde pre-shadow, the pre-party is going so far.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're in the thick of it already. Wow.
Yeah. And as you so graciously did backstage, you were telling me how my chart is basically getting hammered from up, down, and sideways right now. And that's why it's always good to have an astrologer that you can
Indeed.
talk to things about, and they go, "Oh yeah, it's this, and this," and you're like, "Oh, okay." Because
Yeah.
then for me, I think hearing it, it's like I know it's not going to last forever. It's that
Yes.
reminder of like this too shall pass, because we
Mhm.
all get hammered at some point with the energy and these different activations that are happening. So
Yep.
yeah, how is Mercury retrograde pre-party treating you so far? Anything?
So far, so good. But I know it's going to come up and bite me at some point. It always does. So, but yeah, I don't have any real Mercury retrograde stories to. Oh wow! Oh my goodness! Wow, Teresa. Yeah,
I left my keys in the front door overnight. Yeah, that's kind of bad.
yeah, yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I have an older car, and I have such sentimental value with it. It was actually my grandparents' car,
Oh.
and, I took many road trips with my grandmother in that
Oh
car, and
wow.
so I'm not ready to part ways with it,
Hmm.
but it's 12 years old, you know? It's starting to kinda tweak out a little bit here and there, but but yeah, oh, Andrea is saying an influencer, that she follows had the same thing happen to them, but it was a rental car. Oh god.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And, yeah, Constance is bringing up a good point. Travel may not be easy at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, also the stories that we hear now about TSA and about air
Mhm.
traffic control,
Yep.
I think those are, like, right on time for this,
Totally.
Mercury retrograde.
Especially because it's beginning in Sagittarius, which is the sign of long distance travel. So, yeah, any big trips that you're taking right now, I would just always advise people get to the airport early, give yourself extra time because you never know what's going to pop up. So, yeah.
Yep, yep, 'cause, Liza is saying, or Liza
Mhm.
is saying, "Had a flat tire and arrived late to work
Yeah,
yesterday."
that's a
Ugh.
retrograde. Yeah,
Yeah, watch
absolutely.
out for those flat tires. If you've been putting off, like, renewing your AAA membership, this might be
Mhm.
a really good time to do that. Yeah. Ooh, yikes. We
Yeah.
have a lot to talk about
Oh, yeah.
astrologically.
There's a lot
So,
happening.
yeah, I feel like we need to get going with that.
Yeah, let's do it.
You gave me a list that I have up on my phone over here.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. Why don't we start with a full moon in Taurus? Because
Okay.
I think we all have
Yes.
heard of a full moon, and we know that sometimes there's more busyness at police stations and hospitals on full moons.
Yes.
So full moon in Taurus, like that sounds potentially really interesting. So what do you
Mhm.
get from that?
Yeah, well, Taurus is fixed earth. It's symbolized by the bull. The bull represents stability. It's the biggest symbol of the zodiac. It's very sturdy. It doesn't like to be moved. It represents finance. The stockbrokers want the bull market. There's a bull like sculpture outside of Wall Street. It's ruled by Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, the planet of relationships, the planet of the five physical senses. So Taurus represents values, it represents self worth. Of course, Venus is relationships, and this. In its reflection of Taurus, it represents your relationship to what you value, what's important to you. And the full moon is a release. So, this full moon release is really thinking about what is it about. Is there anything in my life, whether it might be a physical object, it could be something material, but it could also be a thought pattern, a belief system, a value structure that is maybe no longer securing me or protecting me, it's suffocating me, it's holding me down. Is it your job? This job provides me stability, but at the same time it's slowly killing my spirit. Possessions that you don't use, it's like, why do I have this? It's just creating clutter in my space. Money, it's like I need. It's never enough. It's like I never have enough money, even though I have plenty. And it is supporting me, but am I clinging to it too tightly? A relationship that represents some stability in my life, but it's actually just taking up space. These are just some examples of maybe parts of your life that need to be cleared out. So that's what this full moon is about, is really thinking about the security that is maybe draining you or suffocating me, or the material objects or items that are not fulfilling my life in the way that they once did. It's time to let them go and to create some new space.
Mm. It almost feels like a spring cleaning in the fall.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. It's fall cleaning, when you think about, the sun is opposing the moon. That's why it's full, and the sun is in Scorpio. And we've talked about, Scorpio, it rules the colon, and the colon is that part of the body that's clearing out the waste that's in the body. And, there's, in clearing out that waste, or clearing out whatever physical items or values that you have that are no longer serving you, you might feel vulnerable. You might feel naked or exposed. But it's about having the courage to step into that vulnerability. It's having the courage to cleanse and release whatever is creating stagnation in your life, which at one point helped you feel secure.
Mm. Yeah, there's an interesting observation I've had just in this moment as you're talking about clearing space and our relationship with money. And for a lot of people, money comes from a job that they work. I've been sitting this week doing a lot of one question tarot reports, and people they send in one question, right, that they
Mm,
want to have me read on with my cards. I'm just now having this realization. There are a lot of people that are asking about wanting to pivot from where they work because they don't feel like it's the right place for them to be. And so the questions are about a lot about, is the future of my job where I'm at, or should I be doing a different kind of job? And a lot of people are tying that, to money. Am I going to be successful doing XYZ? And so I'm just having this thought of like, how interesting that those people are like right on time with this full moon in Taurus this week, getting ready for this energy, and asking about their job and their income and feeling like maybe it's not the right thing that they're at.
mm,
And like, how do I move through that? And how do I make that decision to choose differently for my career or how I make money? So I think it's definitely in the air
mm.
with that energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely, and that's gonna come that's gonna come up in a big way with one of the later transits that we're gonna talk about. I guess I can go into that further then, but
Yeah. You
um,
can do it now. Yeah. Go.
well,
Which one you want to?
just
Yeah.
like the fact that like Uranus is transiting back, it's retrograding back into Taurus. That is, I just put out a new essay on my Substack last night, and that's what I was getting into, is how Uranus, the planet of revolution, the planet of the unexpected, it's transiting back into Taurus right after the full moon. The full moon is tomorrow, Wednesday at 5:26 a.m. Pacific time. On Friday, November 7th, is when Uranus transits back into Taurus. And Uranus is going to be transiting through Taurus from November 7th until April 25th, 2026, which is really wild, because the next time that Uranus will be in Taurus again, after it transits into Gemini on April 25th, 2026, will be April 25th, 2102. So it literally transits back into Taurus exactly on the same day, however many years apart that is, like 76 years or something. I'm just guessing, but from 2026 to 2102. But when you look back, and that's what my Substack essay is about, is like really looking back at how what has been the effect of Uranus in Taurus since it transited into Taurus in May of 2018. Then it transited back into Aries, and then it moved into Taurus for the long haul in March of 2019. You have seen a complete overhaul of the job market. Like, was it? It was. I have to look back at the essay, but I think it was 2021. 43 million people left their jobs, and in 2022, over 50 million people left their jobs. I mean, it's like almost like over 100 million people have left their jobs and said, and the reasons why people said they left their jobs was because, they don't like the way they're being treated, and there's no upward mobility. And it's like, is this worth, like, when you think of Taurus, it's earth. So it's a really physical, like, you think of your body, like the five physical senses: what tastes good, what smells good, what looks good, what sounds good, what feels good. People are starting to realize that this job doesn't feel good in my body. Is this worth the money? I don't care if you're making like millions of dollars. If you're feeling stressed and life doesn't feel good, and you realize that you're just going out and spending a lot of money on stuff that you don't really need, but you do it because it's like that fix. It's like, I hate my job, so I'm going to buy this stuff that makes me feel good for a minute, but then I have to go back to my job and I hate myself. It's like, I'd rather make less money and spend less money and do something I love than make more money and just buy stuff that doesn't really matter, or just have a lot of money that I'm not going to use. What's the point? So I think that's going to amplify when, over these next 5 months or so, with Uranus transiting just the final 3 degrees of Taurus. It's going to push people and really make them take a look at what they value and maybe revolutionize some of their values.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So we're not only having the full moon in Taurus, but we're having Uranus retrograde back into Taurus. So Taurus is a big, big energy theme for us right now.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Major. And, coupled with the sun in Scorpio, and then Mercury, or not Mercury, but Venus transiting into Scorpio. So that happens on Thursday. So, yeah, on Thursday, the day after the full moon. Venus is the planetary ruler of Taurus, but Venus is moving into Scorpio, which is a sign that's opposite of Taurus. And so it's really kind of transforming our senses, transforming our relationships. Like, where, what is this relationship elevating me? Is it lifting me up? Does it feel good, or do I feel drained by this experience? Venus is going to transit through Scorpio from November 6th to the 30th. So we're going to be, with the Taurus energy, the full moon, releasing what I don't value, revolutionizing revolutionizing my values with Uranus and Taurus, but then Venus and Scorpio transforming how I connect with others. It's all working together. We've got to have the courage to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
We've got to have the courage to really sit in the discomfort of whatever that means, and know that everything's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's like, it's like, that's something that we're learning with, like, the baby situation with us, and it's one thing, like, our first midwife said, Gabriella just reminded me of, like, one of the first things she said to us was like, don't tell anybody the due date. And I guess we forgot that, because we're telling should be here. And so, like, for a month we've been telling, people keep asking, like, when's it going to happen? Like, are the baby's here yet? And so when you don't tell people the due date, it kind of like clears people out. We're like, oh, maybe November sometime. We'll see, because
Unless you're me, because I
we don't
ask you
know.
every week, are they here yet? Are they
Yeah,
here?
yeah. But it's putting us in that vulnerable situation where it's like everything's gonna be okay. There's nothing to worry about. Everything's natural. Just let the process take place. And that's what we're all sort of experiencing in life right now with these transits is allowing yourself to be in a vulnerable situation where you don't know what's going to happen, but it's still going to be okay. It's still going to be okay. Like I think about like the Dodgers and this World Series that just happened. And I know we have like a story coming up about that, but it's interesting how sports can teach you so much about life and what's going on with the astrology as well. Because what they did in the postseason, and even what the Toronto Blue Jays did as well to compete with them for 7 games, it's like neither team got caught up in the reality of the situation when something was going bad, like, oh, we're losing or we lost this game. They still recognized that they had time. There was still a moment where we can, we just need to be in this moment. And I think that's what the astrology is teaching us right now is be in the moment. Don't catastrophize, what could happen. Don't cling to something that you don't need, and just allow yourself to be present but fluid.
Mhm.
You can move, you can shift, you can evolve, you can transform.
Yeah. I thought about that with the Mercury retrograde debacle last night. I'm like, you know what? It's all right. I'm still here.
Mm,
I'm still breathing. I have a friend, that's taken me to my house. Um, what kept flashing in my mind was a quote from Mr. Rogers, and the quote
mm,
summary is like, always look for the helpers. There's always helpers.
mm,
And I think sometimes in different parts of my life, I always just felt like I'll get it done because I can count on myself. I trust myself. I know I'll get it done and it'll be in the way I want it to. Right. And so I think
yes.
as I've gotten older, I think I've relaxed more about that and I've accepted help and more, and I ask for help more. Um, but I just feel like, because I've just been getting it from all angles,
Mm, mm,
is that I'm still here, just like you said. It
yeah,
will pass. And the universe always gives you a doorway, or it gives you a helper, it gives you a hand. And so there will always be helpers there. Even when you feel like maybe no one will be there to help you, the universe
mm,
always delivers. And yeah,
yes.
we don't have to go through this alone.
No.
And no matter what it is that the listener right now is facing in their life, there will be a day where you will turn back and look at this period of your life. And the way you feel about the period of your life right now may change by the time you look back with hindsight, and what it is that you went through. And you may even wonder, how did I get through that?
Yeah,
And that builds that resiliency, and
absolutely.
I think makes us even better helpers to other people as well.
Yes. And that's such a major theme right now. And I love that you bring up Mr. Rogers because he's a Pisces sun and moon. And, the North Node in Pisces is teaching us just that, that we need to have faith. And we need to be compassionate to others and empathetic to others. We need to be helpers. Pisces is a real helping sign. It's a sign of compassion and empathy, and so it makes sense that he would have that phrase or saying. But with the North Node in Pisces right now, we have to learn faith. We have to learn faith. We have to be able to believe, uh, and even in the darkest moments, just to let go and just trust. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Just keep believing.
Exactly. And Christina gives us another example of Mercury retrograde, which we were talking about a minute ago, saying I locked myself and my dog outside of the house today with no keys.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then as we've been talking, there has been breaking news out of Louisville, Kentucky. Police are responding to reports of a plane crash
Oh my God.
near Louisville International Airport. It looks like, let's see. I'm trying to see if it's like a cargo plane. I feel like the headline is
UPS. It's a UPS.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So good thoughts and prayers go out to everybody impacted by that plane crash that apparently just happened. Yeah, and another example of Mercury retrograde. Remember, we were talking about Mercury retrograde pre-shadow last week, and the video didn't connect to YouTube. Remember?
Yes. Oh yeah. I
Guess
remember.
what?
What? It's
It's
happened
not
again?
connecting to Facebook this week.
Oh, really? Wow. Wow.
And I
Oh,
double
God.
checked everything because I was like, I am not letting that happen again this
Yeah.
week.
Oh my goodness. Good Lord.
But that's Mercury retrograde. And
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just to get us to relax and to really ask ourselves what is really, really important and what is just something that you can breathe in and breathe out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the list here, we also had Mars and
Yeah.
Sagittarius.
Mars in
So
Sagittarius.
that seems like a whole lot of fiery action.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the god of war in the mutable fire sign symbolized by the archer. Uh, that's what Sagittarius is. Mars is the god of war, the planet of action, aggression, conflict. It transited into Sagittarius today, November 4th. It's going to remain in Sagittarius until December 14th. So, about 6 weeks, a month and a half. This is coupled with that, all the Taurus energy and the needing to release. This is breaking us out. It's helping us break us out of the stagnation. It's creating a sense of freedom. It's motivation and action towards freedom and righteousness and speaking up, speaking out, speaking your truth through not just your words but your actions. What are you doing that allows you to feel free? Are your actions righteous? Are your actions true to yourself? Are you being honest through the reflection of what you're doing?
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know if I remember feeling this much intensity in the world and the energy and the astrology for any of the Q4s in any of the years I have ever been alive.
Mm.
Do you feel that, or do you feel like it's pretty comparable to what you've seen in charts of, the end of the year for other years? This one just seems to have like some special sauce to it this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, no, 2025 stands on its own, but you could say every year does, but uh yeah, I mean there's a lot of tension this year, and I think the tension comes from these planets that are in the late degrees or the early degrees. It's like you got Uranus transiting back out of Gemini into Taurus. You've got Neptune that's just transited out of Aries into Pisces. Saturn transited out of Aries to Pisces. So you've got a lot of planets that are retrograding right now. Next week, Jupiter turns retrograde. After Mercury turns retrograde, by then there'll be 6 planets retrograde. But even Pluto in the early degrees of Aquarius, these early degrees are tense. We're like getting used to the new energy, and so things can feel a little wonky or out of sorts.
Oh, yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll just say, like, from my perspective, like in doing my podcast, the weekly transit, like the last 4 weeks, we've highlighted at least 9 to 10 transits every week. And, typically you'll go like, okay, there's like 8 or 9 transits this week. And then next week there's like 4 or 5 or maybe 3. It's not a lot, but to have week after week after week. Next week, there's just 5 transits that I'm highlighting. So it kind of drops down a little bit, but in 2 weeks, there's going to be 13 transits. So it's just, there's a lot of movement, a lot of shifting. And when you think about like right now, from November 4th to November 11th, next week, 11/11, Mars transits into Sagittarius. Venus transits into Scorpio. There's the full moon in Taurus. Uranus retrogrades back into Taurus. Mercury retrograde begins and Jupiter retrograde begins. So, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot. I have those lists I'm looking at that you sent me, and I'm like, yeah, I can feel the intensity even just looking at these transits. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why we're feeling away. And that's why
Yeah.
I asked what people were feeling from like the Mercury retrograde pre-shadow, because this pre-party is quite a pre-party.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I also think it points to some of what we talked about before in other episodes, where this holiday season and the traveling could be like really, really disrupted. And it is a Mercury retrograde during it. But just all of these headlines we hear like day after day about all these flights canceled or all of these delays, or, Alaska Airlines had a big tech issue a few days ago again. So
Wow. They had one
yeah.
during the last retrograde, right? I mean, yeah.
So I think how we get to our travel plans this year may also need to be, really thought through, but just understanding you can't prevent everything from happening. A good example of this, we have a comment in here. Let me scroll back up. Let's see, about the construction. I think it's Georgina. Yeah. So Georgina says, I appear to be late for my appointment. So today I left early. Once I got within 5 minutes from my appointment, I was held up for 20 minutes by road construction chewing up the pavement. It's a perfect example. Like, you can't really plan for all of the things that can happen, but can you take it in stride?
Yes, that's what we have to do. I think we have to be okay when our plans are disrupted or upended, and you have to be able to go with the flow. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I see that we had a question here just about like a personal astrology chart. Um, I would highly, highly recommend investing in an astrology session if you've never done one. Scott's awesome. But I think if you're someone like me, where sometimes in my life, I'm just like, what is happening in my chart? Because everything seems to be pointy or crunchy or
Mm.
heavy. Knowing what's happening astrologically really does help you understand your own chart and where in your life that's showing up for you. So I would recommend it if you've never had one, or maybe it's been a while. I think getting a fresh look at it. And also when we're getting ready to go into the new year,
Yeah, totally.
yeah, like what's coming and what are the big transits and how's it going to hit and all that.
Thank you,
Um,
Dallisa.
yeah, a little PSA. No, but we all have all the signs in our chart. We have all of
Yeah.
them. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
all of the planets.
Mhm.
But where they are in the chart really does matter. And it
Yeah.
really does matter where we have like our sensitive angles and our personal planets and how the planets talk to each other. So it's a somewhat complicated thing to discuss chart by chart on these weekly live streams, but I do think a one-on-one discussion about your chart would probably be really, really helpful. Because we obviously have stuff in Taurus happening right now. We have stuff in Scorpio, Sagittarius, the Pisces North Node. Like, there's so much happening that it's hitting all of us
Oh, yeah.
in different ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah. And I do think Diana is asking if people may be staying home more for the holidays this year. Yeah. When I was channeling on it a few months ago, it just felt like the holidays were going to be very, very different this year. They felt
Mm.
much more somber.
Mm.
And it just felt like people weren't really investing in the time and energy to travel. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we get through all of your astrology
I think
transits?
so. I think
I think so.
we yeah, I think we covered everything.
I
Yeah,
think so
it's a
too.
lot. So
I know. Let's see on our YouTube who's commenting the most. See if we have any top fans right now. Let's see. Ooh, we have 3 tied for first place. Liza, Georgina, and Christina K are all in
Mm.
first place right now. So every time you comment, you score points, and it's just like a fun game thing that YouTube does. So thanks for being here and thanks for commenting. And we'll look for all the replay comments as well. So we do have a winner from last week's episode that won the 12-month personalized tarot report. And if you are this individual, please send me a note through my website at spiritandspark.com this week and just say, hey, I'm the winner. Send me my report. I'll tune into your energy. I'll pull cards for you and tell you what's coming for the next 12 months. The winner is Justine Kowal from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. So, Justine, thanks for watching. Congratulations on winning. And I'll be on the lookout for your message to come through. If you're new to our show and you have no idea what I'm talking about, each week we give out a prize and you have to know the magic word. You have to go on my website and put in the magic word. It takes all of about 12 seconds. And if you're selected as the winner, you get that 12-month personalized tarot report. This week's magic word is car. Since I had issues with my keys last night and my car, I just said CAR. That is this week's magic word. So make sure you go over to spiritandspark.com, click on magic word, and insert the word car for this week's drawing. Yeah, so cool. We're going to hop on into our headlines for this week. First, though, before I pull those up on the screen, it has come to my attention because Scott saw the headline that Dick Cheney has passed away today. And Scott's got his chart. And so let's talk a little bit about Dick Cheney. And, there's varying opinions on him.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah. But it looks like he crossed over today,
Mhm.
according to news reports. So is there anything in his chart that looks interesting to you?
Very polarizing figure, Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney was a Aquarius sun, which, makes sense because he was involved in community, or the collective, as being a politician. Pisces moon, so he did have issues, I believe, with alcohol back in the day when he was younger. I think it was famous he had a couple DUIs, or a few. He was a Virgo rising, so very harsh critic, potentially detail oriented. When you look at, and he was a 6th house sun, which is also that Virgo energy. But when you look at, he passed on Monday evening, so yesterday evening. What jumps out to me? Well, the North Node was squaring his Mars, so that's a tense aspect. His Mars was in Sagittarius, actually. So a very, very much a freedom-loving individual in terms of how he acts or moves forward. It was in his 4th house, his Mars, which could indicate some challenges or potentially abuse in the home, maybe in his childhood growing up. But the North Node squaring that point was, urging him to reflect deeply in terms of his relationships. It was transiting through the 7th house and taking a sort of righteous point of view, to be honest about what occurred in his relationships and how that was reflected upon or predicated upon his past. What else? It's just, this is a thing that always kind of like gets me, because it's like so often it doesn't always happen, but I just see it more often than not. It seems that when somebody dies, the sun is in a sign that is squaring their sun. And of course, he's an Aquarius sun. The sun is in Scorpio. But yesterday, the sun was it's not just that the sun was in Scorpio and his sun was in Aquarius when he was born, and those two signs square each other. I mean, there's 30 degrees in each sign. But yesterday, the sun was within 1 degree of his sun. So it was almost an exact square that he was dealing with. So I imagine, it was challenging, the last couple of days leading into this death. That's the one aspect that really jumps out at me. Venus was also squaring his Chiron. So maybe there are issues coming up around his relationships. I don't know if he was married or not, but it definitely, there was issues coming up in terms of insecurities around his past. He was born with Chiron in Cancer. Jupiter was also conjunct his Chiron, but Venus in Libra squaring his Chiron, connecting the dots between the past and his relationships and how they've culminated into this moment, maybe where they were imbalanced in some way. Yeah. Mars also transiting through Scorpio had been squaring his Mercury the last few days, and before that was opposing his Uranus. All those are tense aspects.
Interesting about the sun square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always trips me out. I'm like,
Yeah.
look at someone died, and I'm like, oh, they're a Capricorn. I'm like, oh wait, the sun's in Libra right now. It's like, so it's a tense period when the sun squares your sun. So I think it's important for everyone to be aware and acknowledge when that happens for them, so that you can take it easy on yourself during those periods. Really, just like, okay, this is a period, like you're a Sagittarius. So like when the sun is in Pisces or Virgo, it's like, okay, everything's a pass for me right now. For me, I'm a Scorpio. So when the sun's in Aquarius or Leo, I'm like, okay, just take it easy on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Everything, just give yourself a pass. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that's interesting to share about his chart. Yeah, I don't know how he passed away. I didn't
It
even
was
know he had. Yeah.
complications around pneumonia and some sort of vascular issue is what I had read. So, yeah. He was 84 years old. So, he was up there, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, let's pull up these headlines. Okay, so, and somebody had just asked in the comments, let's see here. Liza was asking about Three Eye Atlas and
Mm.
their reports that that there's going to be some activity or sightings with it around Christmas and the relation to three wise men and the birthday of Jesus on December 25th. So there's a lot of rabbit holes we could go down with that.
Oh,
I had heard something recently that the timing or speed at which Three Eye Atlas is moving is changing.
yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
So, yeah. But I have also heard that we will be able to see it without a telescope. So I don't think the story is anywhere close to being over.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of people that have no idea about Three Eye Atlas. I find that like wild because I
Oh, yeah.
talk about it so much. But for example, I was on stage Thursday night, and shout out, hello to everybody that came and saw the show. But I asked the audience, I was like, hey, show me how many of you have heard of Three Eye Atlas?
Yeah.
I don't even remember if there was like one person outside of my parents that
Oh, wow.
I'm like,
Really?
this can, yeah, I was shocked. And also something weird that was going on is during the show, I asked the audience like, oh, do you have a general question you want to ask me about the world or the United States? I make a lot of predictions. What do you want to know about? They just, for the most part, sat there staring at me with like these blank looks on their face. And now that I'm like reflecting on that, I wonder how much people are just like, I have to like tap out of the news, or I
Mm,
have to just like not pay attention
yeah.
to what's happening because it's all too much.
Yeah.
But that was very, very clear during that show that a lot of people did not have any idea what was going on in the world.
Yeah. Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
I have a client I see every week who's always talking about Three Eye Atlas, so I'm getting all the updates. But yeah, it's supposed to come close to Earth. I think they're predicting that it's going to come closest to the Earth on December 19th, is what I had read. But
Cool.
yeah,
That's the day I get a colonoscopy.
oh great.
I'm going to celebrate 3i Atlas coming across Earth's view, and I'll be like under anesthesia. If the aliens come, just tell them I'm a really good person when I'm under anesthesia. Okay.
Okay,
Like if we're going to be taken over, just be like, hey, that lady over there, she's cool.
I'll let them know. I'll
Okay,
let
cool.
them know.
Oh, God. All right. Let's see what's next. Because a lot of these are just updates of things we've already been discussing. So, as we know, staff shortages spark massive delays at airports. We were just talking about that, about Mercury
Mhm.
retrograde and how this
Oh
is
yeah,
going to be an issue all the way
yeah,
through Thanksgiving in the
yeah.
US. Yeah.
Totally. Mercury's retrograde from November 9th to November 29th. Yeah. My mother-in-law is literally getting on a plane on the day that Mercury turns direct. So great travel planning on her part.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a question mark on my calendar around an upcoming trip. I'm like, I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We're all in it together, those of us that travel. This one I clipped because I just thought, I wonder if
This
there's
is like,
something
what?
dark in Scorpio, or
Oh, yeah.
woman ordered medicine by mail and got a box of human fingers instead. Authorities said they're not entirely sure what the body parts were intended for. I thought this is like feels very like
Oh,
Scorpio
yeah.
energy.
Yeah, definitely Scorpio energy there. But it's interesting because, when you think of the hands, that's ruled by Mercury. And by then, Mercury was in Sagittarius. So, yeah, not sure. In terms of when this article came out, I don't know when. Maybe the package was mailed on the last day of Mercury in Scorpio. So I don't know.
Could be. Could
Yeah,
be.
but it's
But
also, Pluto, the planetary ruler of Scorpio, aligning with Uranus in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. So maybe that has something to do with it as well. Very odd story, though.
yeah. So when you get mail or a box and you're like, I didn't order anything. Or if you think it's like your heart pills and then you open the box and you're like, what?
That's
How did I get
so creepy.
fingers?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very odd. All right. This one I thought, oh no, this reminds me of the mortgages that were done pre recession.
Yeah.
Risky loan from housing bust era is making a comeback. Buyers embraced adjustable rate mortgages, known as ARMs, chancing higher payments later for lower ones now. If you have not seen the movie The Big Short, I would highly recommend watching that movie and how everything happened. Um, ARMs are very, very, I used to be a loan officer. They are high risk
Hmm.
because after your low payments, like let's say you have a 3-year arm, you have low payments for 3 years because you're only paying part of what you would normally pay if you just had like a 30-year mortgage. And so then what happens is at the end of those 3 years, it resets.
Hmm.
And that's all fine and dandy if the mortgage rate is okay, like that's out and available for people to get. It's okay if you have a job and you can prove your income. It's okay if you have money in the bank and can show that you have money. because you basically have to refinance your house at that point
Mm.
if you can't afford the new mortgage that you have after those initial 3 years. So a lot of people got caught because they did the adjustable rate mortgage and were paying the interest and the payments were low. And they're like, I'll just refinance. Like, it'll be fine in a few years.
Mhm.
And then you get a few years out and you actually can't
They need
refinance
your
for a
house.
variety of different reasons. And maybe your house isn't even worth what you initially paid for it and got that ARM mortgage on. So it's why there's a lot of places that had a lot of foreclosures and short sales when we had the last recession. And so to see this article from the Wall Street Journal about these ARM loans coming back, anybody listening, I'd say really, really think twice about getting an ARM loan. They're very, very risky.
Why do you think they're bringing this back?
Because more people can qualify for mortgages.
Is it
So
because not enough people are buying houses right now?
I think because it's stalled,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of people don't want to sell their homes because they're in 3% mortgages. And
Mhm.
so they can't, why sell? What are they going to buy? And the rate is at least, 3-4 percentage points higher than potentially what they have right now. So, they do ARMs because more people can qualify for them, because you're only qualifying on the amount your mortgage payment is going to be for those first 3 to 5 years, however long your ARM is.
Mm.
And so they can get more people in that make less money. And so it's all fine and dandy. But if you can't end up selling your house or you can't refinance, you are stuck with a much higher mortgage payment. And then will you be able to make it or not?
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. The alarm bells went off when I saw that.
Yeah.
But The Big Short is a fantastic movie.
Oh, yeah. It's a
Definitely
great
worth
film.
watching.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. These are healthcare stories. I'll just read the headlines. The first one, Maine. So, a healthcare system in the state of Maine accidentally sends letters to more than 500 patients telling them that they're dead. And then they
Nice.
got them in the mail and they're like, wait, I died? Huh? So that feels like very much could be like a pre-shadow Mercury retrograde thing. I
Yeah,
don't know.
for
November
sure.
3rd, I feel like, yeah.
Yeah.
Then the other one is long-term use of melatonin supplements linked to higher risk of heart failure and death. I'd never heard anything about melatonin before. It just reminded me of what we were talking about probably a month ago now about the Tylenol and everything that was coming out about that. So now this is coming up again, but with melatonin this time. So, yeah. What do you make of the 500 people getting letters that they're dead?
Yeah, that's probably a Mercury retrograde thing too. It's like wires getting cross communication on the fritz. Yeah. And the dead part, the fact, even though again, Mercury was not in Scorpio on November 3rd, it was in Sagittarius. It moved into Sagittarius last Wednesday. There's still, the sun in Scorpio, which is coloring the entire zodiac. When the sun's in a sign, that's like the prevalent energy. And so the prevalent energy is around death and rebirth. And so, that could also be the melatonin as well, because it's talking about death and heart failure. Well, the sun in Scorpio, the sun is the planetary ruler of Leo, and Leo is the sign that rules the heart. The sun is like the heart of the solar system. So the sun, the heart, is in the sign of death.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the healthcare system is going to get a complete overhaul, but I think it's going to have to go through a really strong dismantling process first. But you had seen this one. You sent it over to me. And this is the one you texted me and you said really big news.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, the babies are here. Scott's babies are here. Scott and Gabriella had their babies. And then I opened my phone and it's this. just like, this is not really big news when we're talking about babies that are coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Andrew loses Prince title and is forced out of Royal Lodge amid Epstein scandal fallout. So
Yeah.
Epstein continues to roll. Why were you fascinated with this article?
I mean, I think you don't think it's big news. I mean, like
Maybe
he's
I
the.
just felt like it was like, yeah, kind of assumed.
I mean, it's the younger brother of the King of England,
Oh
and
yeah.
he was once one of the direct lines to the throne, and now he won't even be called Prince Andrew. He's Andrew Mountbatten. Like that's
Wow.
his last name now. He's like a normal person, and to get booted out of his castle, and to have to find another place to live, it's interesting because it feels like it's an acknowledgement that this Epstein thing is legit. I think the next step is like, is he actually going to be investigated and
Mm,
potentially prosecuted and punished for the crime of statutory rape, if that's true? um I just it's interesting to me because like the Epstein stuff is not going away.
yeah.
Nobody's forgetting about this. The woman who accused him of the molestation or rape, she committed suicide, which seemed very strange. Like, and even like the whole story behind it, like she ran into a bus or something. I don't know. It's like it just all seems fishy. It's like the these people that are potentially involved, you can see why they would want these victims to just go away. But yet they're not, even if they're killing themselves or if it's, you know, looking like a suicide, but it's something else. Uh, we don't know. But this seems like they're not just ignoring it. So
Hmm.
that, I don't know, it feels like something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, you have a
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Jupiter and Cancer expand the exposed on the father,
Mm,
Javier is saying.
mm, yeah.
All right, let's see what we have next. White House says it will make only partial SNAP payments this month. So, what they were saying is that the 40 plus million people on food stamp benefits wouldn't be getting anything in November. And then there was a judge that ordered that they take money and at least pay out the partial benefits. And so that's what ended up happening. I haven't heard anything about this today. So I don't know if anything's changed with it today or how much they're actually getting this month. But it's an interesting story. I'd be interested. I would like the opportunity. I used to do a lot of charity work in Las Vegas with the casinos and running their charitable programs, but I haven't really been connected in to it that much since I've been moving around the last few years. But I think it'd be a really interesting conversation to have with a diverse group of people that have been on Snap short term or long term and just hear like what is it like and what's your story and
Yeah.
there's so much shame for so many people connected to those that get benefits, food benefits.
Mm.
um I wish somebody would do a documentary or something about it and really like get into what's happening. And I think there's also something with this around what, and I don't know what people can buy when they have this benefit, but is there any kind of stipulation that they spend the money on things that may be healthier foods, or is it they just go with whatever's cheapest so the benefits go further? I mean, I don't know, but I
Yeah.
would love to see more people healthy and eating nutritious foods, but I just feel like there's so many things broken about this.
Yeah. I don't I don't know anything about this. So I just have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Of course, astrologically, this could be like Uranus transiting into Taurus. I think of Taurus as one of the signs that rules food because it's the material, but it just seems like, that like if people don't have money for food, like that's like the last thing that you want to cut.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important. Whatever the government's spending money on, like that's the one thing that doesn't get cut. Is like you don't want people to not be able to eat. Like that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what this is about. Like why they would even do this. So it's very upsetting to even think. And I just have to imagine there's going to be some serious repercussions, because if people are hungry, then people are going to be desperate in
Mm.
doing whatever they need to feed themselves, and how can you blame them?
Yeah.
Nobody should be going hungry in this country. This is a
Right.
very wealthy country. Nobody
Absolutely.
should be going hungry here.
I remember I may have shared this before, but I was in Tacoma, Washington one day and I was driving around. I was trying to find an event that I was going to. And I looked over and I was like, oh my, oh, what is there like a business opening or is there like a celebrity there? Like, why are all these people in line? Like, all around the corner, longest line I had seen in a long time. And the person I was with said, that's the food pantry line.
Wow.
And it's just, it haunted me. And it still does thinking about that because I had no idea.
Well, the last time Uranus was in Taurus was during the Great Depression. And so that was when people were standing in line for bread and food. And so here Uranus is transiting back into Taurus, and it's bringing up that insecurity or volatility or uncertainty around basic material needs.
Even Pam sharing this, and I made a comment about it on Halloween night. Lots of adults trick or treating Friday night. Um, I had an older teenager come to the house, and I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Like, here's candy." I gave all the kids like bunch of candy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was having a conversation that night, and I said, if I was hungry, like if I was somebody that didn't have any food and maybe the line at the pantry was so long that I couldn't stand there and wait. Maybe I have kids that it didn't allow me to, right? And so my whole thing on Friday night was I would have gone trick or treating. And I
Mm-hmm.
understand it's just candy,
Yeah, but it's
but it
something.
speaks to like that desperation of like,
Yeah,
well, where am I going to get it from?
yeah,
Because if the pantries and the food lines are bigger than they've ever been before, then where do you get your food from?
yeah.
Um, so I think that, and somebody mentioned Jose Andres is having food tents set up and giving out food. He's a
Oh yeah,
celebrity chef.
oh yeah.
But I think it takes all of us, and, whether we can donate money or we can donate food or we can donate our time. I think this is just the beginning of the cracking of
Mm-hmm.
these bigger systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Okay, a couple on wars. The top one is about the Trump administration planning new mission in Mexico against the cartels. So it's NBC News talking about maybe more of like a formal war and what's happening with the U.S. against the Mexican cartels. There's also been suspected drug boats that are being targeted and blown up in different waters. And then in the bottom is never again, devastated in World War I, then carved by Hitler and Stalin, how Poland is now tooling up for World War III with Putin at ferocious speeds. So you see both these headlines and I think part of me, like the very deeply spiritual part of me is like, all right, this is the experience of Earth, and Earth is not nirvana. And there's been war here on this planet for a very long time. And I think we're in this period of time where war is amping up and getting louder, and it will get louder than even this. And history repeats itself. And so it's hard to see these headlines, but I also remind myself, like, this is not the other side where things are very different when we pass away from our human bodies here. But Earth is very polarizing, and it has a lot of light and a lot of dark. And that is the design, at least
Yeah.
at this point in time, of Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you make of these war headlines? I know we talk about war, it feels like every week.
I know, right? I mean, it's when you just look at where the planets are, they historically where they are indicates these sort of events where you have Pluto in a position that it hasn't been in since the American and French revolutions. You have Neptune in a position it hasn't been in since the American Civil War. You have Uranus in a position it hasn't been in since World War II. You have Chiron in a position it hasn't been in since the Vietnam War. So, those are 4 outer major planets that are all in positions that they haven't been in since major world events, wars. But I think the question is, what are they saying to us? It's like they're not saying go to war. You're in, Chiron in Aries is saying face your fears and insecurities. You have to reflect upon yourself and your own fears and insecurities so that you can love yourself. If you're loving yourself, then you're not hopefully going to harm anyone else. Uranus is saying, in Taurus, value yourself. Release what you don't value. Maybe you have something that you don't need. You can give it to somebody who does need it. Neptune in Pisces is saying, reflect within your guilt, your shame, your regret, your blame. Show yourself compassion. Be empathetic to others. And Pluto in Aquarius is inviting us to transform the community by having the courage to be the unique individuals that we are, by not following the herd. Well, they said we got to fight the cartels in Mexico, so here we go. Or they said we've got to, fight Poland or fight Russia, so let's just, come on. No, be an individual. Does this really sit with your unique values?
Good question we all need to ask ourselves about a lot of things right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go to your Yamamoto.
Yeah.
An
inspirational story here.
Yeah. So we have this, and then we just have a quick little good news on the last one. But yeah, I was watching the World Series, and I feel like
what were your thoughts?
I have not been tracking the Dodgers at all. I'm a Mariners fan.
Yeah.
But I was like, what is all this like talk about the Dodgers? Like, are they really that good? And then you start watching them, and they're like, oh yeah, they're that good. So it was fun to see them play just from like the athleticism that they have. And oh God, his name escapes me. The one that's the pitcher and the hitter.
Shohei Ohtani.
Yes, Ohtani. Yes. So he was incredible to watch. I hadn't pieced together that he was a pitcher and a hitter.
Yeah.
So then I was like, wait a second, what? This is wild.
Yeah.
So then when Yamamoto comes up and is a pitcher,
yeah,
I didn't know anything about him. And at the end of the game, when they had won the World Series, I think everyone that they had shown in that initial post-game sideline kind of interviews, they all mentioned him.
Oh, yeah.
And they were all so appreciative and excited for him, and his face was glowing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I like it from an astrological lens. So, like, what What do you make of all of this?
So first of all, I know you didn't put this picture up here too, but so Shohei Ohtani posted this image on his Instagram stories, and the image right after that in the next story was a lion roaring like and supposedly, like, I'd read some of the comments, like, in the past he has post pictures of Yoshinobu Yamamoto with like a baby lion. And I'm like, so he must know, right? That Yoshinobu Yamamoto is a Leo, because he's posting him with the lion and he's roaring here, and he just has the heart of a lion, because what he did, and he was the MVP of the series. What he did is so rare. The last time anybody did what he did, he won 3 games in the World Series. You need 4 games to win, and he won 3 of the 4 games for the Dodgers. Like, the last person to do that was Randy Johnson, who's a Hall of Fame, the big eunuch. He's like a unicorn, that was in 2001. It's happened 4 times that somebody has done what Yoshinobu Yamamoto has done. That's how rare it is to exert yourself in that manner, to go out and to be the starting pitcher in it was game 2 in Toronto. He threw like over 100 pitches. It was a complete game. 1 run. They gave up 1 run, the entire 9 innings, shut down this offense that the day before scored 11 runs on the Dodgers. Yoshinobu Yamamoto comes in and they get 1 run over 9 innings. He goes the whole way. Then he comes back in game 6, which the Dodgers had to win, because, like, when you think about, like, the Dodgers, are they that good? They're not that good in the sense where, like, they come in and they dominate a team. They're great in that they don't die. Like, they don't give up. Like, the first game of the series, they were ahead. The Dodgers were ahead 2-0, and the Blue Jays came back and beat them 11-4. Like, if you lose that first game of the World Series and they put up all the stats, like, the team that loses the first game of the World Series only wins the World Series, like, 20% of the time. It's like, that stuff gets in your head.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers, it's like, okay, well, we didn't get that first game, we're going to lose. No, they come out the next game, they win. And then they come back to LA with a 1-1 tie series. Game 3, they play 18 innings. That's 2 games in 1 game, and they beat the Blue Jays. Now that everything is on the Dodgers, it's like, well, they're up 2-1. They still got 2 games to go, and it's going to be easy. But the Blue Jays showed their heart, showed their resilience, and they dominated the Dodgers for the next 2 days. They weren't even close games. It was like 5-1, 6-2, 6-1, 6-2. I think, they outscored them 12 runs to 3, to the point where me, as a fan, a casual fan of the Dodgers, is like, why are the Dodgers even going to go to Toronto? Just forfeit the game. Save yourself the travel, but they go and they put this guy on the mound, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and he shuts down the Blue Jays again. The Dodgers win game 6. He throws 96 pitches. They win game 6. Then they come back for game 7, and they're losing. They're literally, the Blue Jays are 2 outs away from winning the World Series. And here's the balloons. We're celebrating, I guess. So I don't know what happened with
What
that.
happened?
Put on my fingers
Oh
and
my
the balloons
God.
go. So, the Dodgers, so resilient. This one player, Miguel Rojas, who, he's not a superstar. His wife apparently told him before the World Series, you're going to hit a home run in the World Series. And he's like, I'm not even playing. I'm on the bench. I'm not a starter. But by the end of the series, they started playing him. And then by the last game, she's like, I still believe you're going to hit a home run tonight. And he's like, I haven't hit a home run in over a month. You're crazy. He hits a home run in the 9th inning to tie the game with 2 outs to go for the Blue Jays. Then they come back. The Blue Jays they had the bases loaded.
Uh-huh.
Bases
I think
loaded.
they each had bases
They
loaded.
each had
Yeah.
bases loaded, but first it was, I think the second one was the Blue Jays. They had it loaded, and then the Dodgers. I can't remember, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto, they bring him in, the bases loaded, 1 out, bases loaded, and he throws a pitch, and it goes out into the outfield, and you're just like, game's over. This is a hit. All they have, the guy's going to walk to home, and you see these two players running towards the ball. They crash into each other. One of them catches the ball. It's an incredible catch. And then the next play, they get him out. He pitched through 3 innings, and he threw over 35 pitches on no rest. They asked the Dodgers general manager or president of the operations, or, the guy who puts the team together, did you know? Because he was a guy who a couple years ago was like, I don't care. This is a guy, we got to get this guy. They paid him like $320 million over 10 years, never played a single game in Major League Baseball, but was big in Japan. Mm-hmm. And so, but he fought he's like, we have to get this guy. They asked him, they said, did you know that like he had this in him? He's like, I didn't know it. Like, I didn't know that he was going to even pitch until the day of. They're like, he's getting treatment. He's going to be ready. Like, what? Like, God, you don't do this because your body's tired. You don't have the energy. He just had this mentality. And when you look at what was going on astrologically for him, that's where it like really like blows my mind, because he was born with Jupiter at 26 degrees in Pisces. He was born with Mars at 27 degrees in Cancer. So that's the god of thunder and the god of war aligning with each other in a water trine. That's somebody that has the courage, and the courage is amplified. Like, they have incredible belief. Jupiter rules Pisces, so it's in this position of strength. Well, what do you have going on at this time? You've got Saturn at 25 degrees Pisces, Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces, Mars at 28 degrees Scorpio, and Jupiter at 25 degrees Cancer, all aligning with his Jupiter and his Mars, forming this miraculous grand trine that was really supporting him through this moment. And then also Chiron, the wound, and everyone's like, oh no, the wounded healer. Well, it's at 24 degrees in Aries, and his sun, he was born with the sun at either 24 or 23 degrees in Leo. So that's a fire connection. It was giving giving him this like energy to believe in himself, and some of the guys on the team were wearing these shirts that, like, is a phrase that he said, and it's so great to hear him say this in the parade. He's like, losing is not an option, and it's like just the mentality. He's like, I don't care what it takes. I'm not going to let this team lose. And that's really like, Chiron and Aries, like no fear. And connecting to his Leo sun, he's like, there's nothing that I'm not going to do to make sure this team wins. Yeah. And even Shohei Ohtani was like, I have to say, like, no, everyone needs to understand, he is the greatest pitcher in baseball. And he went out there and proved it. He dominated. And it was really special to see. And I feel bad for Toronto and for all those fans. I really, really do. Like, I wouldn't have been, devastated if the Dodgers lost. I wanted to see them win. Obviously, I live in LA, and it definitely raises the vibration of the city when the Dodgers win. Mm-hmm. And I felt the team was very deserving to win the way that they just persevered. But I also felt bad for Toronto because they were just such a worthy opponent, and they never gave up either. And they just, came up a little short.
Yep. Well, there'll always be next year. Same for my Mariners. The Blue Jays beat my Mariners.
Yeah. And seriously, like that series between the Mariners, those were two teams that did not quit.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays were down 2-0 to the Mariners, and they came back
Yeah.
and won that series in 7 games. I mean,
Yeah.
baseball is such a special sport. I just have to say, like, because there's no time. You're not looking at the clock. It's just the outs.
Yep.
And as long as you have outs to go, you have a chance.
Yep.
And it's really interesting to see the mentality of these players. And it's like, because the mental toughness, it's everything. The mental toughness is everything for the sport of baseball. To just be able to persevere through all the noise, all the doubts, the fans on the radio the night after Game 5 saying they should fire Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers. Now those fans are saying he's a definite Hall of Famer. It really just shows how, like, people. It's such an interesting reflection. It shows how people are. How we process conflict, and these players, the way that they process conflict is at a master level. It's elite. They're there not just for their physical attributes, but for their mental abilities is just beyond. It's next level. It really blows my mind.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you always could go and get a job doing commentary for sports and
Yeah.
or start a sports podcast. I think you've got some people here watching that would listen.
Yeah, is that what people are saying
Yeah.
in the comments?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I could do that. That would be fun. It'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
And Nancy, football's great too. Okay, but I don't know. I love all the sports, really. Like,
yeah, so do I.
I mean, I don't think there's a more exciting sport to see in person than hockey. To go to a hockey game is like, oh my God, it's wow. So it's different in person than on TV. I feel like each sport has what's special. Football is an amazing sport. I love football. So yeah. No offense, Nancy. I'm sorry.
Maybe this last news clipping will make Nancy happier.
Oh.
A bite of dark chocolate could sharpen your memory for the next hour.
Oh, wow. So if you're going to take that big test, eat some chocolate.
Like I needed a reason.
Yeah.
I eat so much chocolate. Oh my gosh. So I thought we could all use a little bit more dark chocolate this week. So, let's stock up next time we're at the store.
Can I just say one more sports thing, Dallisa? Because you're in Idaho, and I know you're not in Boise, but talking like Saturday was just like a great sports day for me because not only did the Dodgers win the World Series, but I grew up in Fresno, and my Fresno State Bulldogs beat the Boise State Broncos, which was like, what? I mean, that was like mind blowing to me because Fresno State had just gotten shut out at home the week before for the first time since 1980.
Wow.
In 45 years, it never happened in the stadium where they play football. The last time it happened was when they were at Old Radcliffe Stadium, which was like just a giant thing of bleachers. And so it's the first time they'd been shut out at Bulldog Stadium, the first time in 45 years. They're going up to Boise, and you're like, there's no way they're going to win. I just hope they don't get embarrassed because Boise's probably going to beat them like 50-14. And Fresno beat them 30-7. It was the biggest blowout Fresno had ever beaten Boise. I was like, what? And that's just kind of the amazing thing about football and the mentality. It's like from week to week, who knows what's going to happen? You really don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
That's why they say like any given Sunday, anything can happen. Like you just don't know. But I've been using the planets and stars to navigate my family fantasy football team. And I'm happy to say that like I'm in second place. And, and the first place team I did beat. So they just have one less loss than me, but my nephew. But it's been fun navigating my fantasy football team using the planets and stars and looking each week and saying like, oh, okay. And it's working.
Yeah. I like it. Oh, that's fun. That's
Yeah.
fun. Yes. And Bree is saying, I know what I'm eating before my next exam.
Yeah, a bar of chocolate.
Dark
Yeah,
chocolate.
dark chocolate. Yeah, dark chocolate. That's all I eat is dark chocolate. I wonder what that is. Maybe that's the Uranus in Taurus, is recognizing values in the full moon in Taurus. It's, valuing that dark chocolate for the big exam.
Yeah.
Makes you smarter.
Well, it's a good show. Another great show today. Scott, my co-host. You can find everything about Scott and book sessions and check out his Substack and socials over at theweeklytransit.com.
Yes.
That's the same name as his podcast that he does as well. And everything is over at my website, spiritandspark.com. I am going to put tarot and treats on sale next week. And for anybody that's like, I have no idea, what is tarot and treats? That is where I map out through the use of tarot cards what your year is going to look like. And you get a few other tarot polls that look at specific things about your life in 2026. And you get access to come and join me where I talk exclusively about my 2026 predictions. So because I spend so much time putting those reports together, there's only a limited number of spots. And Spark, or not Spark Plug, that's what they used to be called, Sacred Signals, they get access on 11/11, and then it goes public on the 12th. And so limited spots, it's really, really cool. They sold out fast. I think they sold out in like 48 hours last year. So
Wow.
yeah. So a little heads up for everybody that's like, wait, what? So make sure you're checking emails, make sure you're keeping an eye on social media, but it's called Tarot and Treats if you're new to the community. So, all right. Yeah, I think I said all the things. So let's get through this Mercury retrograde together.
Yes.
We'll be back next week to talk about whatever the heck is going on.
11/11.
Oh, that's right. Our show will be on 11/11.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll bring us some good vibes. And maybe it'll be on YouTube and Facebook. So let's see what happens.
Exactly.
Oh, goodness. Well, thanks, Scott. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye.